What's up, guys? Brandon with Strict Vision Athletics. So today we have a product review. We have a product review on the KYUBELL by Kabuki Strength. It's going to be this bad boy right here. In my collection, I've got pairs of 10s, 20s, 30s, and 40s. I've also got magnet plates that allow me to do in-between intervals, such as 45, 55, so on and so forth. As any of you guys know who follow the channel, we actually do our product reviews based on 5 categories. You got price, quality, usage, footprint, and customer service. Let's start with the most obvious downfall to getting this piece of equipment, and that's going to be the first category. That's going to be price. Now, right off the bat, I will say to you that Kabuki is possibly one of the most expensive companies in the industry. Rogue will certainly charge you an arm and a leg for some of your stuff, but Kabuki is such a specialty. They're such a very, very specific company with what they created. Specialty meaning their barbells. You've got the transformer, the trap bar, the shoulder rock, all of this stuff. It's all very, very elite style equipment. And their pricing is the highest. I mean, in comparison to Rogue, even in comparison to Elite FTS, the stuff they put out is amazing, but it's just obscene. The KYUBELLs roughly will charge, you will pay essentially 2 to 5 times what you would pay for a set of dumbbells. And for this argument's sake, we're just gonna use the pair of 10s. I'll use this as my starting off point. The price for these is $190 plus tax and shipping. Now, depending on where you are and where you're getting these from, these bad boys are going to cost you $250 for one set of a 10-pound pair. You could easily go to Amazon and say, okay, I can find a 15-pound pair of dumbbells, or excuse me, a 10-pound pair of dumbbells for $15. I can get rubberized dumbbells that are 10 pounds for this. That's not a fair comparison. I think in order to really get a fair analysis, you have to go to the top of the market. If I were to compare these, perhaps compare them to the Rogue urethane dumbbells. Well, right now, if you go on Rogue and you look, you'll see that a pair of 10-pound round Rogue urethane dumbbells is $80. $80 plus shipping and handling. That's half of the KYUBELL, half the price, and that's Rogue. Rogue is 50% cheaper at dumbbell price at 10 pounds than the KYUBELL. Just keep that in mind. The product review is going to definitely get positive from here, but when it comes to price, the KYUBELLs, starting, as I said, at 10 pounds are $190, up to 50 pounds, $560 for a pair of 50-pound KYUBELLs. You would have had to have had, and if I was designing someone's garage gym, these won't come up in the conversation. Purely from the standpoint of, unless you have $200,000 to spend on your garage gym, these are not going to be brought up in the list of items. There are so many other things that you should spend that money on long before you get the KYUBELLs. Your functional trainer, your power rack, your plates, your dumbbells that are normal. Dumbbells that are normal come before these, without a doubt. Without a doubt. These are very cool, and they do a lot of positive things that I'm going to get into in the rest of this review. But if you're somebody who's looking at these, seriously consider looking at where you're at with your facility before you purchase these, before you spend the money on these. It's so much money, and while you get a great product, it's just so much money. You've got to be a nerd, or you've got to be you got to be heavily in the business to justify getting these. I'll just leave it at that. So the score for that, I'm going to give them a 2.1. It's a great product, but it ain't that great. But the quality of a Kabuki Strength piece of equipment, no matter what it is, it's above a 9. No matter what it is. I've never encountered a single thing that they've made or produced that I have had in here that I have ever had a complaint with. Possibly the Transformer Bar version 1 is the only thing that I would say up until now could even be considered in the 8s. And when I had it in here, if I'd have reviewed it before knowing that version 2 existed, probably would have given it in the 9s as well. Their quality is outstanding. None more so than the KYUBELL. It is a incredibly made, balanced, well-created piece of art. It really is. I love that they included this little cheat sheet for the 3 different grip variations. That's what really defines the KYUBELL, is that you've got 3 different grips and 3 different weight distributions. You've got the long lever, the rack, and the center mass, just depending on what it is you're trying to target and the way you're trying to hit it. And this is, I think, how they, because at some point, someone sat down in a boardroom and said, okay, how are we going to price this out? What are we going to come to market as, and how can we justify this? And then someone brought up the fact, well, okay, these aren't dumbbells. These do 3 different things. Furthermore, they do 3 different things in 3 different grip positions. You've got 9 different exercise variations per KYUBELL It's very for every exercise. So every exercise has 9 different variations you can use with this bell per exercise. That's pretty outstanding. And in all honesty, I'm happy that I have them. Here, it has a very welcome addition. Our clients love them. And everybody who uses them, that's the other thing in relation to the quality, everybody comments on them. Everybody who uses them is like, these are amazing. Where'd you find these? Like, who made these? Where are they from? They are very special. They do so much, so well. So for quality, I'm gonna give them a 9.8. Very proud of that. Very proud of Kabuki. They've got a great team. Usage, as I mentioned, you got 9 different variations on every single exercise that you typically would only have one with a dumbbell. The usage on this is going to be high. It's a high score because it does a lot of different things. Take any exercise that would be free weight. You've got all the different variations on how to do it. You can change it up based on the level of advancement of the certain client. You can change it based on injury. You can change it just about for any reason you can think of. So for that, I'll give it an 8.5. Footprint. Now, this was a tricky one. To get an accurate score for a footprint, I took this and I compared it to a 10-pound dumbbell. Because again, when this comes up in the conversation, if anybody asks about these or is considering getting them, I first would ask, hey, do you have dumbbells? And if the answer is no, I don't have dumbbells, I'd be like, okay, do not get the KYUBELLs, get dumbbells. You need to have dumbbells in your gym. It's just first and foremost. That being said, this is bigger, much bigger than a 10-pound dumbbell. So I think the score needs to be reflective of that. The footprint is a little bit larger. You're going to have a space adequate in order to get these, especially since you're not just going to want one pair. And you can add magnets to these. You can do plate mates and add some size, but you can't do 10, 20, 30 pounds on here. No, you need to get a bunch of different bells. You need to get 4, 6 different KYUBELLs in order for this to be adequate in your gym. You've got to drop you must drop a few $1,000s to actually have this be an efficient tool for your periodization. But that being said, the footprint is good, not great. I'll give it a 6.2. That's kind of where I'm at with that. It's okay. It's not that big, but it's certainly bigger than a dumbbell, so that's where I'll leave it. Customer service. Kabuki Strength suffers from what I like to call big company delay. And then this is going to be true with not all, but quite a few of the big equipment companies. And Kabuki's kind of right on that little fringe. They're not rogue, but they're certainly large enough to have these sorts of problems. If you have a question, if you have a return, if you have an email that you send, anything like that, expect a delay from Kabuki Strength. Again, the quality of their equipment is what carries them. I'm going to give them a 7, which is essentially average. It's basically right at the midline. I don't have a direct complaint that wasn't addressed that I could bring to your attention, but I don't have very positive things to say about their customer service interaction either. But that's what happens. These companies get big. They don't adequately grow their customer service vein along with the rest of their company, and it ends up suffering. And I think they end up suffering as a result of it. But Kabuki Strength, whether or not they're suffering, they're making amazing equipment. So the total for this is going to be a 6.72. That's for the KYUBELL. Total product review. If I was you guys, I probably wouldn't buy these. That's not exactly a very shining review, but if I'm being honest with you, unless you have a minimum of 8 other major investments in your garage gym or in your training studio, this is not coming up in the conversation. They're just so far down the line in terms of what it is you could spend that money on for your home gym. This is just not even in the conversation. So that's the score, 6.72. I love it. I love it. Love these things. They're incredible, but I don't think you should get them. That's going to be the conclusion of this.